Chi. Do you believe in Chi? Do you feel Chi? This is something that many people have talked about, whether you're in Tai Chi or not in our community. Um, and it's oftentimes a controversial topic. Chi to me is a very important concept. However, from my experience, there is a lot lost in translation. And there's a lot of generalization that happens that because of how general the expression can be, people may lose faith, lose interest, or completely doubt what Qi is. So I think it's a really important topic for us today in Tai Chi to the people. I saw a video yesterday, a Qigong video on YouTube, and it was with a Qigong master. This Qigong master in China, dressed in traditional Chinese garb, described Qi as the life force, the connection to source in all things. I thought that was beautiful, but also too general, way too general. I grew up with a teacher, my father's teacher, Cheng Kai-chan in Chinatown, New York, one of his teachers, who described Qi as 4 different specific lights, types of light energy, including infrared. And I thought that was, I don't know if that's accurate or not. What I'm getting at is it's very specific. And I appreciated the specificity. The generalization of Qi that I've experienced from many folks, especially if they're translating from Chinese to English, can, especially when you're a non-Chinese martial artist, meaning that if you do a Japanese art or a Brazilian jiu-jitsu, obviously stemming from Japanese also, but now with the Brazilian flair, Muay Thai, etc., you have there's a sense and understanding of energy, but there's a reality in a lot of the other, a harsh reality in a lot of the other arts. And that harsh reality comes down to getting hit, to getting an arm broken, a limb broken, to taking a choke, to being able to come back after these very, very harsh experiences. So today, and on my channel in general, I am always doing my best to explore this specificity of Tai Chi, especially when it comes to push hands, meaning the manifestation of these movements and these ideas and concepts in a very practical way that anyone can do and do repeatably, because if it's not repeatable, it's not competition worthy. I always say that. So very, very important stuff. And I always am open to any notes, thoughts, or ideas from anyone in the community that wants to share and build upon a library that we are creating together, a database of information, of specificity, so that we can break down together and understand more deeply, more intimately what Qi is and how to utilize it. I do find that when I connect to my breath work and my visualization, that I can feel and guide the energies in my body, certain energies, not all of them, not yet, hopefully one day. But what I'm getting at is that there is a sense of differentiation in my experience in Qi and Tai Chi. The differentiation between, if you've studied anything like astral travel, meditation in general, the difference between meditation and Tai Chi. People often say Tai Chi is meditation in motion. Meditation is very different from my upbringing, from my education. It is a very different thing. There are studies that would compare the effects of dancing to meditation. These are 2 completely different things. Yet there are some overlap in terms of benefits. So what are we really talking about? Meditation, when it comes to refining our character, refining the type of person we are, and consistently seeing the patterns, analyzing, making better decisions, etc., for the growth of ourselves and for the benefit of all mankind, for all that surround us, our immediate surroundings and beyond. These are all grand concepts that have a very practical beginning, which that practical beginning is your physical reality. So my intention today is to share some exercises that are going to just help us connect with the breathing, the visualization, the movement, and relaxation through the bodies. One of the things that I've been going through in the last few years has been a lot, let's say the last 5 years, has been way more emotional tension than I have experienced at any other point in my life. And I noticed that with people, with men and women, but I've especially noticed it in men as they get older, the certain tensions in their body, especially those who don't do Tai Chi, certain tensions becoming hardening tension in the back, the shoulders, the arms, and how to avoid that has been something I'm like, okay, well, like, how do I make sure that that's not me? Because I can feel their tension. That's one of the exercises that we do in the U.S. Tai Chi push hands team. We'll be on like a train, because a lot of us are from New York, and we'll look, someone down the street or someone on a train, or you can really do it anywhere, and just try to gauge the tension in their body. And being able to be sensitive enough to feel someone else's tension in your body is part of how you strategize around their tension. So this is a lot of talking for the beginning of one of my videos, but I wanted to share this because I've been feeling some of that emotional tension, and I'm doing my yoga, I'm doing my Tai Chi, I mix the two together. But some of the activities that I have in life are requiring me to continue to push through certain physical discomfort that I might have, that might be in terms of even endurance, like, oh, you know what, today I just got to get up and I got to go drive. And I don't want to, I want to like rest, or, my son wants to play in this pool and there's no one else for him to go with. So I got to go in the pool with him, and, little things like that. So today we're going to do some great exercises. And I want you guys to, of course, before I continue with these exercises, to please check out what we're doing at justiceforhire.com, building a martial arts action cinematic universe, kind of like Marvel's, except with anybody who wants to join. We're doing it with the community. We're producing a show with the community on justiceforhire.com. You can learn all about it on justiceforhire.app. You can actually join the community and create characters and shows. And this Justice for Hire experience is part of the reason we brought Tai Chi to people back, and are doing this on a regular basis, so that people know that everything we're doing is connected to this intention to slow ourselves down, to speed up our perception, so we can do any activity with more intention. And that is what Tai Chi is for me. It is a human performance tool. And that approach is being taken with Justice for Hire. That approach is being taken with our production company, Real World, which anybody can own stock in right now on wefunder.com/realworld. That's REELWURLD. Realworld.com is the website. So please check us out there as well. And you can, of course, support my channel on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Coach Jan's Tai Chi. And you can support that channel either by subscribing or liking a video and putting a comment, of course, or supporting on Patreon. And the more patrons I have on patreon.com/Jan's Tai Chi, the more content I will create with greater detail, because I already have tons of content. There's tons coming out. There's tons already shot. I want to make more detailed Tai Chi videos, but I really want to know that you guys are out there and want it. So please subscribe, watch more videos, and let me know more of what you want as well, and I will produce that as well. So without further ado, let's get to some movement. I'm going to move some of this tension out of my back and my shoulders that I've been getting from years of buildup. But fortunately, because I do Tai Chi and yoga, these things are not nearly as bad as they would be. So I'll start out with my feet shoulder width apart, parallel. Imaginary string of 3 from the top of the head. My tailbone will drop. And I'll feel a cascading of relaxation down my spine. And what it really is the loosening. I'm releasing, relaxing, almost like I'm letting go. Like if I have something in my hand, one of my son's toys, and I just let go of it. That little letting go sensation, if you can find that in the muscles that have the tension, And from my experience, it's a very intentional thing. I have to really put my attention on it to give the intent to release. My heels, weight mostly on my heels. Knees soften. Mouth closed, tongue to the ceiling of the mouth, and inhale, breath lifts the wrist. Exhale, wash the color out. Inhaling deep. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. So uplifting heaven, exhaling down. Breathing formula 2, inhaling up. Even deeper. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. This exercise is great. First thing when I wake up, I do this. Literally the first thing when I stand up. Breathing formula 4. Inhaling deep. Even deeper. Even deeper. Even deeper. Exhaling down. I know I'm winding. I'm going to bring back the conversation. Bring us back to the chi conversation in a moment. Exhaling down, pelvis rotates on the femur. As a matter of fact, let me fix this camera so you can see a little more detail of this posture. My half horse stance, meaning I'm not in my low horse stance. I'm not down here. I am half horse stance here. Tailbone drops. Imaginary straight up. Hollow fist on my hip. Weight on the heels, knees bent. Exhaling, pelvis rotates on the femur. Inhale, breath pulls you up into the side. Exhaling down. Inhaling up to the side. Exhaling down. Reverse. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale up. Now let's just stay right here for a second. Embracing the one. And let's talk a little bit more. This Qigong video I watched, the man from China dressed in traditional Chinese garb, older master, with beautiful energy, beautiful vibe, beautiful energy. He had a Western student also dressed in traditional Chinese garb. They were both doing these Qigong exercises. And when they would do the Qigong exercises, I could see the holes in the master's attention. My question to you is, can you see the holes in your own movements? I can see the holes in my movements. Yesterday, I watched my Tai Chi fast form, and I saw a bunch of holes in it. The ability for you to not only self-critique, but also see holes, period, is very, very important. Let's define what I mean by holes. Holes are breaks in the concentration and or breaks in the movement, which really is still breaks in the concentration. It could be the movement, the circulation of the movement. So in other words, someone can look like they're doing a super smooth movement, but can you see the hole even between my left arm and my right arm and my left arm right now? I can see it on camera. So being able to look at holes in yourself or in others is part of how you're going to strategize around them in push hands and in other grappling arts. Very, very important concept. So I can see the holes in this guy's movements. What it really was is that he's talking while he's giving a demonstration, and I can see the breaks in his concentration. People especially have breaks when the hands are coming closer to the hips. One of the biggest holes you'll notice, or I'll notice, is that people will move their hands or not move their hands. Here at the end, there oftentimes is a loss of direction and clarity right around this area when the hands come down for motions that are symmetrical. So, for example, let's do uplifting heaven, inhaling up. Big breath. Oftentimes, my students will start to wane with their attention right around here. And they're not sure exactly what to do. From my experience, the exact thing you do is you stop completely, meaning that there is a complete stop and then a re-energization. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And you come to a complete stop, inhaling up. Now, the distance between, in terms of timing, between your stop and your start can shorten, but you have the intention to completely stop. Now, that intention to completely stop is itself a discipline. Some people may say in Tai Chi, you never stop. You continuously go from one move to the next. That is also a discipline, but there has to be clarity. And oftentimes I find, again, with this exercise as a litmus test for somebody's attention and their ability to pay attention to this one moment of complete ending. You ended the movement, start again. Very important. Some people are nervous. Some people want to feel like they're continuously moving. So they'll come in and they'll do this. I'm not saying that this is wrong. What I'm saying is that there has to be intent behind it. And there has to be specificity behind it. And the specificity, remember, the Tai Chi was created by a person. So the more that we get into the mechanic of intention, the more intent we put into our movements, ideally, the more understanding we have and clarity we have behind why we're doing a particular movement. And sometimes there are multiple whys, but it's very, very important to have a grasp on at least a few of those. From my perspective, as a coach, as a champion coach, as a champion competitor, if I didn't know that, I wouldn't be able to be a champion coach and champion competitor. So I find that it's very, very valuable in the breathwork movements. So let's get into softening the body. And I want to call this a spiral-like movement. We're going to inhale up and we're going to reach. Think of it as like an uppercut, a spiraling uppercut. And I'm reaching up, exhaling down, softening. Now look at my other hand. It's as if it's diving. Inhaling up. You're going to see that I'm pointing down here and I'm reaching up here. The fingers are energized specifically, index, middle finger, and thumb. Reaching up. And my feet are shoulder width apart and parallel. I'm a little bit more bent than usual. We honestly do not do many exercises from this posture. So this is going to be unique today. Inhaling up, reaching up, exhaling down. Now my fingers point down, inhale up. Exhale, pointing down. Inhale down. Exhale, pointing down. Now why? Why pointing down rather than hand floating down? Notice that when hand floats down, elbow is closer to the rib cage. Elbow closer to the rib cage often means more protection for your elbow so that someone can't flip your arm and put you into a lock. So why would we do this? So the intention is reaching down and using this part of the arm as a platform, a pressing, like a press. The fingers push down and you have this flat surface that if you have an arm or an opponent's arm here, essentially turns it down. You've seen this movement before if you've done William C.C. Chen's reverse breathing Tai Chi right here. And snake creeps down right here. And this snake creeps down movement, if I can show this on Autumn here, here's an example of the snake creeps down movement. You have someone with a clinch on you, and you break the clinch right here. So it's a fantastic move, breaking the clinch. Just as an example, someone's got the clinch here, you break it, and then you come back however you want to come back. So we're breaking a platform, breaking with the platform, reaching right up. The reach has many, many applications. And the intention here is not so much to go into the fighting application. So I just want you to understand that there are applications to the mechanics. Here, what I want you guys to focus on is stretching through the shoulder blade, inhaling up. Notice that we're almost doing, if you've ever seen these reaching, like you're pulling fruit from the sky, this is an uppercut mechanic. So you're really practicing very, very basic mechanics here. And we're going to use the hip just like an uppercut. The hip, as you go inhaling up, is going to support So it's not just a finger going up. It's going to be emphasis on the hip pushing forward, the shoulder blade up. Exhale. Inhaling up. Look at my hip. So I have the fingers. If I want to soften everything, I only do the fingers, but now I add the hip. Just a little hip to give me extra stretch. Reaching down behind me, exhaling down. The waist will turn. Hip and the waist will turn. But notice that my eyes are still facing the camera, meaning that my center line awareness, my nose should still be on the center line forward. Now you might say, Jan, center line is wherever you're facing. That's true, absolutely true. So let's get more specific. When you establish an eye line, you establish like a magnetic pole. Wherever your eye line is, that foundational eye line, let's say, for example, your opponent. If the camera is my opponent, no matter where I go, I keep my eyes on the camera. That is my center target focus, no matter where I go. So when you do these exercises, you choose your target focus, and your center line stays aligned with that, meaning your head and your nose. The center line is an imaginary line that goes to the center of the body, which all the chakras are on, etc. And so you draw a line from that center line to the target, and you keep that forward attention momentum while you do your movements. And that helps to focus you. Now, this is different than separating heaven and earth from the 8 pieces of brocade set. When you separate heaven and earth, there is a lift up and a push down. When we're doing this, there's a push forward, almost as if you're pushing the elbow forward. Remember, that is the shoulder blade disappearing into the back, and it happens gracefully, not as hard as I just did it. I did it hard to show you that it is a very powerful, strong posture and move. Now, again, we're doing this just to stretch. You should feel it in the chest as well. Feel the opening of the rib cage. Exhaling down. You should really feel that rib cage. Open up. Hips forward. Weight twist. Eyes on the target. Open the ribs. Exhale, come down. Now, one of the most important things, there's lots of important things, is remembering that even though you're stretching upward, even though you're lifting the chest, visualization on the lower dantian, breathing into the belly, exhaling down. Notice that the finger activates as it passes the belly, inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. A few more from the side. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Now, this is from Luha Bafa. I started doing this again last week. It's one of my favorite moves from Luha Bafa. We'll do a few Luha Bafa techniques today. Maybe even one from 2 weeks ago that I love. Like looks like Hadoken from Street Fighter. But this one helped me so much in Shaolin Kung Fu. And I forget the name of it. It's a snake-like movement, almost from Snake Kung Fu, but it's from Luha Bafa. You're going to inhale, reach around, and you're going to feel coiled in the waist. The knees are going to remain forward for the most part. You really want this to snap from the waist more than the hips, more waist than hips, and exhale out. As simple as that. Inhale across, exhale out. Inhale across, exhale out. Now, when you exhale out, the visualization goes from the belly, exhaling down through the middle finger of the hand. You can push it through the whole hand, but emphasize that middle finger. You can do the index, middle finger, thumb, but emphasize number one priority is that middle finger. You want to feel the circulation shoot to that finger, the blood cascade to that finger. So inhale, very relaxed. And the fingertips at the end will only flex for a second, meaning they'll only create the snake shape, the hard snake shape that you might find in snake kung fu, only for a fraction of a second, just at the apex of the expansion, just for a moment. So this is an exercise that happens in the Luhababa form. And I always loved it because it helped me a lot with my favorite Shaolin line drill, which includes the windmill. But essentially you would snake up, you would step, snake up, and come down and do the windmill, and it's great. I love it. I love doing it. So you do this wonderful exercise, pop. And one of the great things about this is remembering that here, you're inhaling, drawing the breath in through the hand. The arm is hardly moving. It's the waist. Exhale, and you uncoil. Then uncoil naturally shoots out the other hand. Inhaling, the breath is motivating the movement, the waist is the majority of the movement, the arm moves a bit. And notice that this hand is connecting to an opponent's, to a pressure coming in. You ride that pressure coming at you, and you shoot something else out. So it's very Wing Chun, meaning that you're striking and redirecting, striking and defending at the same time. Striking and defending at the same time. So, one, inhale across, exhale. Inhale across, exhale. Inhale across, exhale. Now, coming back to our theme today about breaks into concentration. Inhale, draw. In my best moments, which often happen in private, the concentration should feel like a vacuum. As you inhale, come across, like you're sucking up the color into the belly through the hand, and exhale, shoot that color out. Inhale, draw the color into the fingertips, into the belly. Exhale, shoot that color out. Inhaling deep to the belly. Exhale, shoot that color out. Inhaling deep. And when you finish, this other hand, the hand by the belly, is still active. It is actively protecting, meaning that you created a little barrier. You've ridden someone's punch or jab or movement, etc. I use this all the time in push hand. In other words, someone will push their hand in. As they push one hand in, I'll pummel in with the other hand. So this same movement happens all the time, whether you're striking or grappling. Very, very important. So the thing I want you to be mindful of and avoid this is to emphasize the pushing out and not emphasize and leave out the drawing in, the vacuum-like experience. The vacuum-like experience is more important than the push out because this is you gathering energy. Lots of people can move fast and look explosive to an untrained eye. You want to feel that color blast out of the hand. Breath as color moves through the hand. Mouth closed, tongue to the center of the mouth, all exhalation through the nose. Keep the mouth closed the entire time. When you exhale, drop, meaning that you sink a little bit on the exhalation. Inhale, slight lift, exhale. Now, if you want to stay completely still and don't do the pump with your legs, that is more advanced. But even when you're more advanced, there's still going to be the drop. You might find a little drop here in the tailbone. Inhale, exhale. And that's because you're coiling the spine. It's going to move. You gotta avoid that. So you're going to have to relax and feel that downward energy. There is a reverse breathing version of this, which we won't go into too much, but you could inhale up. But when you inhale up, I recommend going with the movement of the lungs. If you're inhaling to draw the color into the belly, the lungs are expanding. If the lungs are expanding, agree with that. Agree with your body. Meaning, I go higher when I inhale, oftentimes. That means that if I'm boxing, bringing this to a very practical or the most practical hand fighting system in the world, which is American boxing, which is if I'm punching and I'm coming up, I'm probably going to inhale up. When I exhale, I probably go down. So I'm doing my best to agree with what my body wants. And both of those, the inhalation and exhalation, always have a slightly different intention in my experience. The inhalation, I'm creating a shape. The exhalation, I'm blasting something out. Create a shape that's solid like a statue, very hard punches. Exhale, push my visualization into my opponent. So these are different concepts that help to enhance the experience and the connectivity for my full experience of the martial movement. And it has a direct effect on my opponent. So let's do 4 more of these. Inhale, drawing in. Now, another one here. And this one is going to be similar, except both at the same time. We're going to inhale, draw the color in, and exhale out. Like you're sliding the hands out. This is another Luhanbafa movement. The concept here is that you have these imaginary rails that go through the hips. We talk about this often. Sometimes the arm in certain movements will not go past this rail, this imaginary line coming out from your hips. From the pelvis rotating on the femur, oftentimes you rotate on that line. So here you're going to ride that line and maybe even be a little in front of it. So you're going to feel the stretch in the upper back when you do this, meaning right here, the shoulder blades, you'll feel the stretch outward, the expansion. So inhale deep and exhale, and really feel that stretch in the upper back. That's not well. It's an amber alert. Everything's okay. Inhale deep, exhale out. Inhale deep, exhale out. And I cannot stress enough emphasizing this movement here. You'll feel the stretch. It is not lifting your shoulders. It's pushing the shoulder blades in. And of course, the hands will not go straight to the sides. I mean, they could if you wanted them to, if you're doing Shaolin Kung Fu, but here we're still emphasizing more of the Tai Chi mechanics. So the hands are going to stay inside these lines. You're going to ride them for a moment and stay inside and feel that stretch. Inhale deep, and you're going to sink. Inhale deep, draw the color in. Now, one thing you can visualize if you like is right in front of the belly, like a big white ball of light, gathering the belly, protruding from the belly, almost like you're pregnant with the light, and roll that light over with the fingertips very gently. And then from here, you spike it out. Inhale, roll that white light, and out. Roll the white light. You should even feel the fingertips influence the light in the belly, almost like the shadows on my body. The shadows are creating, my fingers are in the light, creating some shadows. As your fingers go across this imaginary ball of light in your belly, pushing it out. And as we keep doing this, I want to go back to that theme. I complained earlier. I said the explanation of chi was too general. That of course, it's a connection to the source, but then it's the same as the Jedi, as the Force. so I want to be more specific in how I interpret chi, especially in an exercise like this, where if you are not from the Tai Chi system or open to it, some of these exercises may seem ridiculous. But think about this for a second. We're using our attention right now to focus the inhalation, see the color, to convince ourselves of gathering energy in the belly. That's key, convincing yourself. Convincing yourself is key in any field of play. It's key for the placebo effect. meaning there are many athletes and top performers that take a pill, which is really just a tic tac. And they'll take a tic tac to give them power before they go on a field, before they go into a meeting. And the reason they're doing this is to activate parts of the mind, to be able to bring forth energy that they wouldn't necessarily be able to activate without that assisting totem. So here we are giving ourselves the power by visualizing. So it's really important to recognize that this has an effect on the mind. It has an effect on the body by nature of us giving into this. And for the lucky folks who get to experience the sensations and benefits of rolling this color in the belly, perhaps you'll even start to feel it in your hands. Perhaps you'll start to feel the circulation differently in your body. And there are many people who don't do the visualization at all and still feel it in their body and the circulation. These are all very, very important things. What I'm getting at is that there are different ways to get there, and utilizing the concept of chi is a way for us to impact our performance in a major way. And it is one of many different ways. So when someone describes chi and says it's the life force, etc., I look at it more so as a component on the path to a higher or expanded awareness of the self and of all of our surroundings. So I hope that I tied together those concepts more clearly for everyone. And I want to start moving a little bit more. Now, this is going to be a freestyle. And this freestyle, I rarely do. I've never done on video with anybody. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure if I've ever done it with another person. Oftentimes, my hippie friends will call it embodiment movement. Embodiment, and I think this is really, really interesting and important because there are times when you might just want to move your body, just feel great, do nice stretches and all this other stuff. That's awesome. That's great. I have friends who do that all the time. But I want to connect this because oftentimes those same friends are disconnected from the visualization, which catalyzes the movement and how I share Tai Chi. And for me, it's very, very easy to see when someone does it and when someone doesn't do it. Michael Jackson did it. And Michael Jackson impersonators don't do it. It's very clear. So we're going to do freestyle movement now. And inhale and draw through the right hand. I just want you to draw through the right hand. I want you to exhale, push through your left hand. I want you to inhale through your left hand and exhale, push in any direction you like through your right hand. And inhale through the right hand. And anytime you're moving, exhale, let one finger and one hand push the rest of the body move. Exhale, step. And even if you want to step forward, inhale, let a thumb pull you. Exhale, let the other hand whip you. Inhale, let the hand bring you up. Exhale, let the hand bring you down. Inhaling up. Exhale. Inhale. Now start bringing it into the toes. The toes pull the color up, the fingers pull the color in. Exhale, push the color out the fingers. Inhale. Exhale. Now, what are we doing? We are connecting with being more flexible in our bodies and allowing the breath to freely move us and the visualization to conduct, meaning that anytime I'm doing these movements, I'm pushing the color out or I'm pulling it into the belly, pushing it out from the belly or into the belly. So I want to make sure that no matter what my movements are, that I am really feeling that each and every one of them is being conducted by my breathwork and visualization. And in this way, this can amplify your shadow boxing. This can amplify your stretching. So right now, even here, I'm doing my little windmill. And I'm coming down and I'm stretching. I might stretch a little bit more. Inhale, drawing in. Every moment, I'm either inhaling or exhaling. So now we're getting to that concept of the continuous movement that we were talking about earlier. So where does the stop happen? And the stop starts to become about strategy. So I recommend keeping these movements going and stretch yourself. Feel yourself move. Feel yourself come into all the stretches and movements that you want. Anywhere you feel tension in the body, identify it and try to stretch it out. Inhale, reach around with my shoulders a little tight. Open the rib cage. My other shoulder, open the rib cage. Really open up. Inhaling up. Exhaling out. And if you think you feel a little bit like a ballerina or a dancer, that's a good thing. So inhale, open, and really, really stretch yourself. If it feels awkward, even better. Why? Because you want to maintain balance in awkward positions. It's one of the key things to being successful in push hands. It's maintaining balance in awkward positions. You want to put yourself into awkward positions because your opponents are going to put you into awkward positions. So when they do so and they think they've got you, you want to feel like, no, I got you. You want to feel great and be able to come back. If you have tension in the lower back, I've been driving, I have some tension down here in the belt. I'm reaching out and I'm turning the hips, drawing the color in, and really feeling myself lift the muscles. And my muscles are being lifted, catalyzed by the fingertips, catalyzed by the breath. The fingertips are catalyzed by the breath, and the breath is catalyzed by the visualization coming in. Even this small movement, the visualization filling up, filling up, filling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up, even picking yourself up. Open yourself up and really feel yourself move as much as you want. You can be as martial as you want with it. You can bring it into your shadow boxing. And if you start to make it faster, really start to push that color out. Inhale, push that color out. Really feel that you're whipping it. You could do it at any given time. Again, these are motions that sometimes you just want to do, especially if you're not a Shaolin Kung Fu practitioner. If you are not a Shaolin Kung Fu practitioner and you don't do the line drills that open the chest up, for example, if you do an art like Kempo, I have a great deal of respect for all my Kempo stylists out there, the ones that I train with. I love them so much. I do not see the same drill sets as Shaolin Kung Fu that open up the chest. I've never experienced it outside of Shaolin Kung Fu. Opening up the chest, really giving you that beautiful range of motion. So if you don't do these big range of motion exercises that give you all this flexibility, that's okay, but really take this embodiment movement exercise to heart. Really give yourself this space to open up. And this is different than yoga. It's complementary to it though. You want to make sure that you are pushing. If you saw my hole just now, I had a hole there. So I pressed, but it didn't have full intention, it had half intention. These are the holes that you want to be looking for in yourself. Pushing that color all the way out. Inhale, drawing it all the way in. Everything centered in the belly, no matter whether you're inhaling or exhaling, and feeling that consistent alignment with the center line, no matter where you bend. No matter where you bend, finding that consistent alignment and bring it back to center. Let's do it with the heaven. And Autumn has a great idea right now. Let's swing the arms for a moment. Just swing the arms, feet shoulder width apart and parallel. Notice that in this first instance, I'm keeping my eyes forward. And we'll keep our eyes forward for the next few sets. So, of course, remembering that the feet are shoulder width apart and parallel. And now we're going to release the heel. Releasing the heel. The arms are hitting the kidneys, gentle banging, and gentle banging on the spleen and liver on the front. Kidneys on the back, spleen and liver on the front. And now we're going to start coming over the shoulder. And while we're coming over the shoulder, there's going to be a drop down and come up. Drop down, coming up. So now you're leaning a little more forward. That means that before you're doing this, staying on one plane, now you're adding another plane of power. Coming up and down. Eyes still forward. Do your best to feel your center line and feel how the whole body is moving around it. As if it's a pillar that the entire body is wrapped around like vines. And now we're going to release the head. So you're looking behind you, either to the side or behind you when you do this. Let's go side first. Just warm up. Looking to one side, then the other. Remember, you're still dropping down and coming up. And now let's look behind us and feel that extra torque. This extra torque is super important when you're doing big crank throws. Upper body throws that you'll find in push hands, that you'll also find a slightly different version of in Greco-Roman wrestling. So this look is super important because you're looking to where you're going to throw the opponent. Wherever you're looking, that's where you're spinning the opponent to, because the rest of your body is going to follow the eyes. And now let's bring it back to side. Just side, and the hands side to side. No up and down. But the head this time is turning. And even with the head turning, you want to feel that imaginary string keeping you upright. And now keep the heel planted, but still look side to side. And feel that imaginary string keeping you very aware of your center line awareness. Center line. And now that we've done that, let's finish up with some shadow boxing. The same concept of the embodiment movement before, but now we're going to bring it into the shadow boxing. So I'm going to be a little bit more kung fu and expressive here because I want my movements to come in and I want to push it out. So you really want to feel like you are having a very graceful sparring session, a very graceful, beautiful, classic kind of very traditional sparring session. You can do, notice that if I do traditional boxing, if I do traditional shadow boxing, I have these broken but smooth movements. I'm smooth, but I'm not putting everything into it yet. And that's great too. You can totally do that. But right now I want you to focus on inhalation, exhalation, coming around, inhalation, moving around, really feeling more dance-like. And then you can start to bridge into the boxing. Really start to bridge your Tai Chi movements into the boxing movements, into whatever freestyle movements you do. Really think about the flow. And now we're going to start to get into the concept of drop. The second you start to get into the stopping, the dropping of the weight, and the coming back, that's when you really start to get into strategy. Because that stopping is the moment when you do it intentionally. These are moments where you can have a breath, where you can have where you can trick the opponent, etc. It is more, in my experience, more challenging to trick with consistent movement rather than it is to have really clear stops and starts to your exercises. So let's do to your movements, martial movements. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Even in push hands, we'll be playing push hands, and sometimes you'll feel a boom, boom, and then a push. And that little drop is part of the expression of the next movement. So to a certain extent, from a certain perspective, you never stop. But to be very practical and real, you have a complete drop of weight, a complete exhalation, a complete end to one movement before starting another one. And that rhythm that actually creates rhythm and changes rhythm, disrupts rhythm. The disruption is also part of the flow. So always remember that disruption can be part of flow. And if we get too deep into the semantics of it, it starts to lose meaning. Or perhaps all means one thing. So inhaling out, fingers up, hips forward, chest up, fingers back, hips forward, weight on the toes, exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Soften the knees, inhaling up. Fingers, chest, hips, forward, exhale, butt back, finish. Soften the knees, inhaling up. 1 foot forward, exhale, touch the toes. Inhaling up, switch legs, exhale down, touch the toes. Inhaling up, 45 degrees, exhale down, touch the toes. Inhaling up, switch legs, 45 degrees, exhale down, touch the toes. Inhale, up, exhale, touch the toes, 90 degrees. Inhaling up, switch legs, exhale down, 90 degrees. Inhale up, fill the body with white light. And exhale like a pump. Exhale, pushing any negativity down to the ground, out of the body. Inhaling up, draw the white light in. Turn to your right side on the tippy toes. Exhale, drop down. Now feel this stretch too. Expanding out the lower back, hips up to the ceiling. Inhaling up, pelvis rotating on the femur. Inhaling, turning to left side. Exhale, the visualization is pumping down, almost like you have a syringe full of liquid and you're pushing it out. That's how it should feel, like you're pushing the negativity down, out of the body, into the ground. Inhaling up. And now down the back. All that's left in the body is that white line. On the inside, down the outside. Up the inside, down the outside, over the shoulders, down the back. Inhaling out, just the fingertips. Fingertips up. 2 more. Hands are on the chest, massaging. Exhale, inhale through the belly, exhale through the palms into the chest. Let the chest absorb it and tap around. Massage into the chest. And floating rib up. Pressure reverberate through the lungs, the chest cavity. Top to bottom. 4 fingers on the sternum. Collarbone. Oh, reproductive organs. Hand on the collarbone. Look up and relax all the way through the reproductive organs. Very important. All the way down. Looking up, the hand's going to massage from the collarbone to the chin. Very strong. And the back of the neck. And something around. And reverse. For the hormones right here. 2, 3, switch. 2, 3. Earlobes for sleep. And then around the ears. Up, over, down, under, very strong pressure for the immune system. Off on the face to the side. Up to the side. Up to the side. Fingers in the scalp. Front to back. Back to front. Back, back from the side. Front to back. Back. Okay. And gentle knuckles, gentle banging, and massage the top of the forehead, and reverse. Temples, and reverse. And the eyes, and reverse. To the heart, and reverse. Top and bottom, switch. Top and side of the gums, bottom. Make sure those four fingers fall into the grooves of the gums, underneath the gums first, before you start to go back and forth. And then just press and hold here and massage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Drive the thumb up and massage. And then the pocket of the elbow with the thumb. Drive down just above the pulse, massage, and then on the pulse. Switch sides, press and hold, and massage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take the thumb, place it there, drive up, 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 up. Massage on the pressure point, right around here. You'll feel it. Take that same thumb, move it here to the pocket of the thumb. Use this as a leverage point. Massage into pocket of the elbow, you'll feel the pressure point. And then drive that thumb down, 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 along the natural line, just above the pulse, and you'll feel it right here for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. And then flip the fingers out, thumbs. 1, 2, 3, grab. Inhale, right line to the belly. Spread through the whole body. Inhale, right leg. Up the front, toes to head. Exhale, roll down the back, head to heels. Inhale, up the left side. Toes to head. Exhale, down the right. Exhale, down the legs. Into the ground, come back up and around like a fountain in reverse. Inhale the belly. Exhale to the top of the head like a fountain. Surround the body with the white light. Have gratitude for the body, the people around you, the space that you're in. Thank you guys so much. As you know, patreon.com/Jan's Tai Chi to support the channel, justiceforhire.com to join the cast or learn more about the show we're producing as a global community, the first martial arts cinematic universe, and realworld.com or wefunder.com/realworld to buy stock in the company, the first social film studio building cinematic social networks. That means that a show like Justice for Hire has its own social network where anybody can create scenes and characters together and expand the storyline. So we are at the forefront of that in media and hope that you check us out and join us in building the future of film and TV, which is us. That's why there's a U in it. So please check us out. This has been Tai Chi to the People. I am Coach Jan. I love you guys. And anytime you have a thought, question, or idea, please post that. And I'm always happy to explore because we need more and more people doing Tai Chi, teaching Tai Chi. So whatever style of Tai Chi you teach, please keep doing it because we need to get it out there even more so for the whole world, for the benefit of all mankind. Love you.